welcome back!
I made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. So what we came across that day in the woods was obviously unplanned. The reactions you saw on tape were raw, they were unfiltered. I should have never posted the video. There's a lot of things I should have done differently. I want to apologize to anyone who's seen the video. I want to apologize to the victim and his family.
Hey, so this video is not canon. I might unlist it at some point. But basically, I wanted to address the recent situation. YouTube has updated their policies, and they have updated them to prevent creator-on-creator harassment. One of my videos, the one that I made on H3H3 last year, was retroactively targeted and taken down. I did not receive a strike on my channel, but it was the biggest video on my channel, and so yeah, it kind of sucks. Now when people go to my channel, the most viewed video is a Halo video from 2013 or something. Now my video was far from the most significant. Obviously, most notably, iDubbbz's content cop on Leafy, fucking true tragedy that got taken down, as well as Psychic Pebble's video where he mocked the Fine Brothers basically satirically through his animation style. As far as we're aware, those are the only three within at least our circle, like the commentary scene, that have been targeted and taken down for this specific policy update. And yeah, it's just very weird, very weird that out of kind of what felt like nowhere, you just wake up and the video's just gone. And the rules are changed, you know? The rules are one way one day and then another way the next. It's a bit strange. Now, to me, this change is just kind of annoying because obviously the video was a pretty big part of my channel. I owe a lot to it. I mean, it's definitely a bit of a messier video in retrospect, but it's whatever. You know, I kind of feel like the odd one out in that I don't even understand how I got caught up in this because you know, in the wise words of Jackie Chan, I'm pretty irrelevant. Yeah, I was very very surprised to see PewDiePie talking about it.
I'm glad they censored the thumbnail because it was just completely horrible. It's called The Death of H3H3. It was a video criticizing H3H3. Whatever your opinion on the video is, it got removed, and I think it was because he was holding a gun towards H3H3 in the thumbnail.
That's my new desktop background, by the way, in case you were wondering.
No one thinks he's going to shoot H3H3 just because he held up a gun. No one is fearing for his safety. Why is there no distinction between intent and actual action?
PewDiePie criticized me and defended me in the same day. That's pretty nuts.
They also took down a video that was critical of H3H3. It's just a absolute shit show.
But yeah, it was kind of cool seeing some of my favorite YouTubers discuss this issue and subtly make reference to my video. To quickly address the thumbnail meme, I knew when I made the video it was edgy, obviously. It was not made to be a friendly video. I've said that. It's supposed to be abrasive. Same with the ending skit. I even felt some regret about the ending skit afterward, but not on a guidelines level. Okay, it was mainly on like a personal, empathetic level. I was like, oh, okay, this was definitely a bit edgy. But I had very specific reasons for seeing it through, and I made that decision, and I guess now, finally, retroactively, I'm being punished for it, so whatever. In the whole first session, I'm basically presenting myself as a bad guy, basically getting ready to commit a crime. A strong inspiration for this was the book Crime and Punishment, which you can see I'm reading here. This first session was meant to simulate the crime portion of this book, and then the second session, which I just recently released, is meant to simulate the punishment aspect, where I pay for my crime. You know, that was the dichotomy that I wanted to explore, and at the end, when I finish my criticisms, you can see that I've been staring at a mirror the whole time. And that's just kind of showing that I see reflections of my criticisms in my own, day-to-day life, right? Like, it's stuff that can be applied to me in certain situations. And I'm confronting it, literally in front of the viewer. And I'm projecting it onto Ethan, I guess, who's kind of the subject of me just my anger and frustration. And then the ending skit was mainly just to provide catharsis to the viewer, because all this tension had been building up for an hour and a half. I wanted it to pay off, kinda. And it's also important because it's the actual crime portion of the video. It's when the darkness manifests and the decision is made to kind of commit the crime. You know what I mean? Like, the damage is done. Decision is made and the crime is committed. In this case, murder. Just as it was in the book. I don't like having to explain myself. I'd prefer to just leave it up for interpretation, but since YouTube is clearly interpreted as me just being a madman, I'd at least like to, talk about it since nobody can view it now. In this situation, that was my idea. The thumbnail was inspired by the thumbnail for the Leafy Content Cop, which makes it slightly poetic that both were taken down on the same day. And yeah, it was just meant to be like a harsher version. The video was initially uploaded. I had no fellow YouTuber contacts, literally none, and I quickly gained a bunch, which surprised me. And I asked a number of people what they thought, like whether I could get striked for this, because I knew it was kind of edgy, and they said no, I should be fine. And I reviewed the guidelines, and I was like, okay, it doesn't look like I'm breaking the rules. And now clearly new rules have been implemented just to kick me in the balls. But yeah, I agree, it was in kind of poor taste. Again, that was kind of the goal. I wasn't being subtle. I was being very forthcoming, I'd like to think, maybe too much so, but whatever. I ended up being punished for it, so karma came around. But yeah, one pattern that I thought was kind of funny that I picked up on was no big YouTuber who covered my video credited me or whatever, said my name. And so I don't care, genuinely. I don't really need to be credited for anything. I think that I'm a very small part of this very big issue. But yeah, it was definitely interesting to see. PewDiePie generally makes a very conscious effort to credit people, and clearly he chose not to in this case. Critical, who made a lot of great comments on the situation. He also did not say my name. He cropped out the the tweet that I made. And I initially thought like he probably just saw the Keemstar tweet or whatever, but no, I can tell he was looking at my tweet. He used 2 of my exact screenshots, so I don't know. Philly D didn't mention me in his video, but in the article on Red Rocket, on whatever, Rogue Rocket, they mentioned me. Keemstar as well, but I think that's just because he doesn't care. Tiny Meat Gang mentioned it briefly.
That guy who sort of did that commentary vid on H3, his video got deleted.
Did it really?
Yeah. The iDove's video got deleted.
They probably just don't remember. And obviously H3 did everything to avoid mentioning me by name, which is becoming a bit of a meme.
Some guy that we don't know that made a video about it.
Found a video that was critical of H3H3.
The guy who did that commentary vid on H3.
I can't say the actual title. In terms of what I'm aware of.
Why they censored the thumbnail?
What are you talking about?
He was holding a gun towards H3H3.
Do not speak his name.
H3's response to the situation began when Keemstar posted this. Basically just an accusation that H3 got my video taken down. H3 took the bait and eventually talked about it on his podcast, where he basically just made it sound like a high school squabble. He calls Keem a psycho.
Dangerous psychopath. Absolutely psychotic. He's so psycho how insane these accusations are. And how insane you have to be. He's obsessed. He's obsessed with me, dude. He's a bit obsessed with me, one might say. Keemstar is obsessed with me. Probably has a small penis as well. I can just tell. Probably really tiny.
And then he calls him a clown.
Clownstar. Clownstar. The Clownstar. 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 Yep, that's Clownstar for you. His fragile little clown heart. The killer Clownstar. Clownstar. Clownstar the genius. Newsman. Again, the excellent newsman. He's such a genius. Watch this.
But most notably, he pretty much rejects Keem's claim.
Massive conspiracy. Baseless, insane conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories about me. It's not the first time he's just made actually slanderous lies about me, but such a fucking blanketly wrong and malicious statement. I mean, slanderous, really. Most of the videos criticizing you were removed. No, one.
Now, Keemstar did come into this situation like a bit of a fucking idiot. Just by using this word, the statement not only became incorrect, It also was the perfect scapegoat for H3 to completely ignore and gloss over my video getting taken down and to basically just focus on how Keem is out to get him.
So you really think that Susan, the CEO of YouTube, came here to meet us to talk about you and another guy that made a video about us?
No, I think that Susan, the CEO of YouTube, went there to meet you to talk about creator-on-creator harassment, just as Susan herself says. Right here, in her letter to creators last April. Among a few other topics she discussed with creators, she makes a note that they say the online harassment from fellow creators is growing and needs to be addressed. She said she takes this very seriously, and that while they allow criticism, any threats or doxing crosses the line, and she mentions to stay tuned because they'll be doing more to discourage this.
Really? You think that's how she uses her time?
Yes.
He's obsessed with me, dude.
Yeah.
You want to know how I
Came
met?
here and we talked about some guy that we don't know that made a video about us. That makes
The
total
CEO
sense.
of YouTube came out to hear me bitch about that.
She was literally there to hear about creators' issues. So yeah, I think it's totally possible.
Well, what video is this? The death of H3 Productions. This video was removed. And if I look into it for more than just 2 seconds, you'll remember I said there was a new rule said that it includes content simulating violence. So if I have to just take a harebrained guess, it probably wasn't a conspiracy. It was probably just the fact that he has a gun up to my head, like to execute me.
The question was not whether my video breaks the new guidelines, okay? It definitely does. It's almost like they wrote them specifically to ban videos like mine. The only question was whether you made them aware of it.
I didn't have any removed, by the way, which is kind of... I expected to have a couple removed when I heard. I was like, oh, fuck, let me check my email, see what got. But nada.
Of course not, man. You were the one talking to her about it. That'd be kind of funny if she just 180'd on you, just sniped you in the back of the head. But no, be realistic. Of course she wouldn't strike you. You probably have borderline immunity now. Maybe not, but we'll see.
By the same logic of Clownstar the Genius Newsman, that means that Leafy also complained to Susan Wojcinski to remove iDubbbz video.
Now, Leafy didn't do that, obviously, okay? Even if he wanted to, he probably couldn't. But I think the main reason that you're under suspicion is that you had basically the golden opportunity to tell YouTube about my video. You know, not only did you meet Susan, but you also have a YouTube advisor. I mean, you're let's be honest, you're well connected with YouTube. And considering how you censored your comments and didn't directly address my video, I think it's safe to say you're a little bit more keen on keeping it quiet, as opposed to Leafy, who made a direct response video. As well, I think it's safe to say that the Leafy content cop would be much more likely to be on YouTube's radar than my video, just given the view differential. So I don't really think comparing the two is that fair.
What I think happened is that YouTube had a short list of videos that had been massively reported for harassment. And then they probably removed most of those videos.
Like they already had it queued up before.
Yeah, they definitely did, because they all came down immediately.
Out of all of the most flagged videos for harassment on this website with millions of videos, if you're trying to say that mine, iDubbbz, and Psychic Pebbles were the most flagged or the most deserving, I think you're wrong. Again, the view differential on mine, and even when you consider Psychic Pebbles' video, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think there are many fans of Ben and Rafi of the Fine Brothers who are going to go out of their way to report a video like Psychic Pebbles that was uploaded fucking 6 years ago. I think it was more of a statement to the commentary community.
Content cop on Leafy was removed, and that one shocked a lot of us in the YouTube community. Psychic Pebbles made a video about the Fine Bros many years ago. And this video was removed. But besides these two are kind of the most notable in terms of what I'm aware of.
Yeah.
iDubbbz, Zax, and then that one conspiracy, the one that Keemstar says I got removed.
Now, the way that you address the video, pretending as if you haven't seen it before and aren't well familiar with it, I find that slightly funny. And I think it clearly shows you haven't moved on from it. The criticism still bothers you. And in case there's any doubt in anybody's mind that, you know, he's actually seen the video, if you go to the episode of the podcast where he has Gus Johnson on, in that podcast episode, when he clicks the video tab, you can see that my username is in his history. As in, he typed my username in there, and he knows how to type it, unlike 99% of the people who are only vaguely aware of me. What's even funnier is that podcast was on April 10th, and Susan Wojcicki released her letter to creators on April 30th. By doing a little bit of research with help from Bedhead Bernie, we were able to figure out that Susan visited H3 on April 18th, 2019, the same day that she visited James Charles and Shane Dawson, judging by her outfit. This means that between the Gus Johnson podcast, where you can see I was in his history, and Susan visiting them, there was only 8 days. So I was on his mind about, give or take, probably 8 days before he talked to Susan. I don't know what the fuck that means, okay? That's not definitive proof by any means, but definitely makes it a little fucking weird that, he pretends he doesn't know anything about what the fuck, it's like impossible, that he was talking to Susan about anything. I don't, want to think he fucking did it, and I don't have proof he did it, so I won't say that he did it, but yeah, no, something feels shady. This podcast just did not feel very honest. The vibe was off. I encourage you to check out the whole thing. I'll leave a timestamp in the description. Anyway, I did have a slight hope that you would somewhat defend my video getting removed. I thought maybe, you would stand up for, criticism or whatever, but obviously not. In a strange twist of events, Leafy came out of nowhere, and he supported iDubbbz, which is insane, right? Because Leafy, that content cop, got like 40 million views. 40 million people watching Leafy get bashed on, and the man still came out and supported iDubbbz. So as a person, I guess it makes sense. You don't want to draw attention to a video like mine, but as a commentator, I think it makes you look very weak. I'm sure you don't really care what I think, though.
Leafy made a better response than this, without a fucking doubt. Jesus Christ.
Just while we're on the subject, last year a dude named Starkilla made a rebuttal video to my H3 video, and he put a lot of work into it, and I thought it deserved a decent response. And so if you're at all interested in that for whatever reason, I'll leave a link to his video in the description. He's been uploading a lot recently, so if you like him, there's more where that came from. There are also some theories as to why my video got taken down. Number one being that the bots detected the gun. I think that's not correct. Reason being that the video was actually monetized. When I initially uploaded it, it wasn't monetized because I didn't have a partnership. Actually, I was not making any money from YouTube. But when I eventually, after a few months, got a partnership, it was monetized. It was not demonetized. And that was not through a manual review. That was through the natural course of the bots. So I don't think it picked up on anything bad somehow. It had to be somebody being informed directly at YouTube. Whether they saw it or whether somebody sent it to them, I don't know, obviously. I just picture a bunch of people in suits in a fucking boardroom watching my video out of context, just not... fuck. It's a strange world, man. And to any small creators, you can go from having 13k subs and 200 active viewers, doing YouTube for fucking like 7 or 8 years, and then with one video, all this shit, all this like weird controversy can come of it. It's somewhat inspiring, I hope, but yeah, definitely weird. I just wish they would show us the changes they want to make like a week or so before they implement them, so that we can adjust and refine our previous content, because I don't know, a lot of this content is very near and dear to people, including me. I have a lot of reasons why I would prefer if the video stayed up and I could just edit out the parts that are offending. But yeah, to address the whole video getting deleted thing, I might re-upload it. If I do, I would have to heavily censor it just because I do not want to get striked for it. I've already received 1 strike for my last video, simply for making a playlist that outlined videos that violate YouTube's sexual content policies. I'm on their radar now, so I gotta be a little careful. I might even re-upload the previous video just because there's some things in that might get it retroactively removed. If you're watching to this point, please, I encourage you, if you have not seen it, to watch my previous video. I'll leave a link at the end, but I think it is the most important video I have ever made. I think it covers a much more serious topic than the whole H3 thing, and yeah, I think it's also the most refined video I've made. I put a lot of effort and thought into it, and so this is my little advertisement for it. If you want to watch it, you can watch it on my channel. It's still there. Demonetized the shit, but for now, it's alive. And yeah, beyond that, I have some very, very exciting videos to come, and I'm quite excited to move on. I don't like getting caught up in these cobwebs, but you can only deal with so much bullshit before you start to complain about the smell. So have a good day, and please check out that video.
It's a beautiful piece of
Yeah,
satire.
it's really funny.
And there's really nothing wrong with it, especially considering that it's a scripted satire, that it's very thoughtful, that it is a specific criticism against them.
And it's like so, it is so clear that it's satire from the beginning. There's no question.
I mean, here, I'll show you the beginning. As you can see here, we got a nice chunk of feces.
Ball sack.